Hello, so this is another bonus segment, and in this video, me and Asaid are discussing the idea of developing a syllabus for your subject. And this is particularly important in subjects where you're kind of more reliant on understanding than you are on memorization. Because if you have a list of things to memorize, then fair enough, you memorize the list of things. But if you need to understand concepts, or if the kind of outline of what you need to know for your exam or for your studies isn't quite clear, it's very important that we kind of create our own syllabus. And in this video, Asaid and I are discussing this concept a little bit further.
Well, I think in every case where you have such uncertainty, I think you need to find a syllabus for yourself. I think it's really counterproductive to not have a limit on what you're learning. And there's always a tendency to try and expand the resources that you're using, because other people use different resources and they will know things that you don't know.
It's like you've got the Oxford Handbook, but there might be some rogue fact in sort of the big pathology textbooks. And, do I need to know that?
Absolutely. So, I mean, for me, for instance, I made the Step 1 textbook my curriculum. That definitely didn't have everything. I had to supplement it with other things, including past medicine. But that combination was incredibly comprehensive. And yes, there were things that I didn't know, even like despite learning sort of much of those. But I think you have to accept the fact that sort of you can't know everything, and it's better to know a lot well than sort of stress yourself into trying to achieve something which you can't really do.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important insight, that actually it's impossible to know everything. And therefore, what's the big chunk of information that you will know, and what's the sliver of information that you don't need to worry about?
Yeah.
And in a way, like simplifying, like the more we simplify it, the easier it becomes. I was having a chat with a student from UCL a couple of days ago. He was in his fourth year, and he was saying that, it just seems there's so much information. I don't know what to use. I don't know if I should use Kumar and Clark, Oxford Handbook. I don't know if I should use, Alistair Scott's UCL notes that have been propagated throughout the internet. I don't know what to do. And it seemed like the advice that resonated with him when I gave it was that he was thinking of clinical medicine as he was making it harder than it had to be. Like, realistically, all you basically have to know is what's in the Oxford Handbook, and then a few extra bits maybe to get a few extra marks in past medicine. And if you confine yourself to that, you actually realize that, within cardiology, there's only 15 topics. Okay, within respiratory, there's only 8 topics. It becomes much more manageable.
Yeah. I mean, I will say the Oxford Handbook is really kind of sort of poor in terms of explaining things.
It is, yeah.
It's just a list of information.
It tells you the stuff rather than helps you understand the stuff.
And for that reason, I pretty much didn't use the Oxford Handbook at all during my clinical years. The USMLE material was relatively a lot better explained.
Okay, as in like the first aid step 1 book,
absolutely.
For example.
Yeah. I think, again, the key is to take a set of resources. It might just be one thing or a couple of things, and make it your canon and really kind of master that.
And would you make notes on those things to sort of compile into a master note thingy?
No, I wouldn't. Again, it's pointless because you've got the information there. You need, just as with the lecture notes in first and second year.
Yeah. Why would you rehash them out?
There's no point just making redundant notes. I think once in third year, when I was doing essays in theology and philosophy, each week, whenever I was doing essays, I'd have a big reading list. And usually, I mean, these topics, again, were highly abstract. And it would usually take quite a while before I really understood what was going on. And in each of those cases, I found that if I could just take one kind of book, one of those books, and make it kind of the key to my understanding, really understand that book in detail. I had to read it maybe 3 times in order to really understand what was going on. When I got to that stage, I could skim read the rest of the books and sort of basically top up the kind of foundational concepts that I had. And that would be really easy. Whereas I think if I'd read every book in turn, I would have had a much more superficial understanding.
Yeah, so make one book your Bible and the rest are supplementary texts.
Absolutely. And if you learn the Bible, the supplementary text you can get through sort of very quickly.
So that was a bit of discussion on how you can find a syllabus for yourself. I hope you found that vaguely useful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.